Welcome to back to Coast View. I really enjoyed that conversation. Friday's always a cool day here on Coast View, and thank you for joining us on 103.1. Or you may be listening on your favorite podcast, or on YouTube or Facebook, or you may be watching on SuperTalk TV. So, however you choose to engage with Coast View, we appreciate you being here. I continue to get incredible positive feedback, so keep the feedback coming. Go to our Facebook page and like it. And, engage in the conversation. We really, really enjoy celebrating coastal Mississippi. Hey, listen, it's no big secret to people. I was in pre-med for a while and changed my major. I was working at Mississippi Power Company in the purchasing department, and in between pre-med and what I ended up ultimately doing, going to JD, the Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, Jefferson Davis campus, now it's the Harrison County campus. And then on to Southern Miss on the 2+2 program. I did an internship at the Sun Herald. The rest is history. I went on to get my MBA at Southern Miss. But I often bragged on my education. I mean, the education, the groundwork I laid at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College and then ultimately at Southern Miss really provided an incredible foundation for my education, and went on to become a media executive and had a lot of success in my life. And I give that incredible foundation of education that I got so much credit. I'm a proud member of the Alumni Hall of Fame for both Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College and Southern Miss, and I'm just proud to be associated with those universities. I hope I'm an example, like many others who have had tremendous success in their lives, an example that we can get great educations here. We don't have to go to Harvard and Yale. We can go to Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. And now when you consider that the more than half of the students at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College these days are enrolled in programs that are non-traditional education, it's incredible, really. So anytime I get a chance to reflect on Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, it's a good day on Coast View. So with that said, I want to invite my new friend, Dr. Suzi Brown, who is the Executive Vice President of Institutional Advancement at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, to Coast View. Seems to me won't be the first time that you're going to be on my show. I think we'll have many opportunities to visit. But without any further ado, welcome to Coast View, Suzi.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me.
It's great to have you. So where are you sitting right now?
I'm in my office. I'm on the Perkinston campus.
Yeah, I rode by there. I have a place up in the Mississippi Delta, and every time I ride by and see that incredibly impressive new entrance to the university, you guys have to be super proud of that.
Oh, absolutely. We just celebrated 110 years of being here in Perkinston. And when the new road was built, someone commented they didn't realize there was a college back here. So same place for 110 years, but the new road.
Yeah, how long did we drive along that railroad track and, past that little small city center right there and into the campus? But it was a campus with so much success, in academics and job training and athletics. I mean, it screamed, I need a new entrance. It did, didn't it?
Absolutely. We're proud of it.
Speaking of celebrations, the institution, as I've said many times, is one of the finest in the entire United States, because the community college system in general in Mississippi is one of the best in the United States. And Gulf Coast Community College is regularly, first in so many different areas. I mean, how you performed recently in the LPN and ADN program, you can tell people what those programs are. But number one, just last week, actually, you're in the top 10 in the nation in the ADN program. So tell them what the ADN program, and of course, most people know LPN, but explain why that's so important.
Yeah, so we're really excited about that, Ricky. We found out last week that we're ranked number one for both of those programs in the state. And as you mentioned, ranked number 6 and number 7 in the nation, so under 10 for the ADN program. That is based on affordability, which we really try hard to make sure everyone is afforded an education if they would like to receive one. But most importantly, it's also a reflection of pass rates, 99.2% for the ADN, that's the registered nurse program, and then the LPN has a 100% pass rate. So super proud of that. Also, quality of education that they received was up there as a reason for the rating as well. And there's well over 1,000 ADN programs that we're being compared to throughout the nation.
So ADN, tell our viewers what that stands for.
Associate Degree Nursing Program.
Yeah. One of the best nursing programs, period, bar none. And we've said that many times over. Hey, you know, the other thing that's impressive is the Great College to Work For ranking for the 11th year in a row. I mean, it means something when you can have high marks on the programs that you have, but it means even more, frankly, and maybe one of the reasons why those programs are so successful is because the people who work for think it's a great place to work. That's important, isn't it?
It is. This is my 21st year at the college. We have grown. I've seen a lot of changes, but I can honestly say one thing that hasn't changed since the day I started is the atmosphere, the work atmosphere here. So compensation and benefits was one of the areas that we scored really high. But the ones that I'm really proud of is the relationship between the supervisor and employees, the faculty relationships, you know, those things that are important to me from an advancement standpoint. That's what it's all about in my area, is building relationships. And we have strong relationships within the community, but also within our own work community. So
I've had a long association with Dr. Mary Graham, your president. And, you know, we've crossed paths in so many different ways. She's been on the show many times. I see her at church from time to time. We are regular members of St. Michael's Catholic Church over on the Point, and she'll come there from time to time, and we'll wave at each other across the church. But I love having her on because one of the things, I mean, obviously throughout the entire pandemic, but you guys were challenged in so many different ways, but you've had a solid team. Your team has been solid throughout this whole journey. You know, when the going gets tough, you have to have a strong team. And of course, the pandemic threw all kinds of curveballs at you. The other thing that I've always been impressed by, not just the fact that you guys have had this team with all this tenure together for such a long time, is your focus on strategic planning and making sure that what you're doing is addressing the needs in the community. That's why I think this point that I made early on, that over 50% of your students are involved in non-traditional academic education, is a great indication of the work that you're doing to make sure that what you're doing is giving every student the opportunity to succeed. And it's paying off, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And you mentioned the strategic plan. We actually rolled out the strategic plan during the pandemic. We rolled it out in 2020. I think it's a testament to Dr. Graham's leadership that she didn't want to push pause, because the planning and looking toward the future and all of the things that we have to offer our students is, you know, that's the most important thing that we do. So we couldn't hit pause for that. We still had students wanting to come and learn and earn a degree and get on with their lives. So, yeah.
Okay, so tell people what the institutional advancement area is all about. You're the vice president of that group. Tell me about that.
I am. So we, everything from marketing, public relations, played a large part of the strategic plan, trying to help develop some of the initiatives that we would roll out as an institution. And then I also am over the College Foundation. So we raise money for scholarships, for programs, for faculty initiatives, and then alumni relations as well. And then archives also falls under that umbrella. So just making sure we're protecting and preserving the college's history.
So a lot to say grace over. And it's interesting. A lot of what you have responsibilities for also includes celebrating the successes of the university. So that's pretty cool. Hey, listen, as we speak, the Clem Dellinger Memorial Tournament is happening over at Hickory Hills Country Club in Gaucher. That's important to you guys, isn't it?
It is. That is one of our major fundraisers. Helps us raise money for athletics, for scholarships, for students. We always have just a fantastic turnout for that. So great day indeed.
That's neat. How many teams do you expect this year?
That is a great question. I have no idea.
That's okay. Yeah, I tell you before we start the show, I'm not going to throw any curveballs at you. And there you go. I throw one.
Whatever the maximum is,
good.
They have to hit that number. So
good for you. Good for you. Homecoming weekend. A lot going on this weekend, isn't there?
Yes, I tell everyone my division is the fun division. We do get to plan the fun events and all the celebrations that you mentioned. So homecoming is about celebrating our reunion groups. We have quite a few. We've got the class of 62, class of 72, the class of 97. And then this was a big year, Perkinston Agricultural High School. Any graduate that went through the high school, which was on the Perkinston campus before it became the community college, they are invited back. And then the 2007 National Championship team.
Hey, so let's do this, Suzi. We're visiting with Suzi Brown, Dr. Suzi Brown. She's the Executive Vice President of Institutional Advancement at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation about all the festivities that are happening around homecoming weekend. And then we'll also talk about hosting the Bulldog Day that's coming up on campus next week. So when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. We're visiting with Dr. Suzi Brown, who's the Vice President of Institutional Advancement at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. We got homecoming weekend coming up this weekend. And, Suzi, it's always amazing to me. You were talking before we went to break about all these reunion groups that you bring together. And then, of course, you have Hall of Fame for alumni. You have the Hall of Fame for athletic department. Man, there's a lot to coordinate over homecoming weekend. You guys are no stranger at biting off a lot, are you?
We're not, and you know that Gulf Coast is a special place. So I hear a lot of my sister institutions, they don't do a full week like we do. So they have their Thursday night game with a few events before the game, and they call it a week. We usually start the week before. We had homecoming brunches with celebrating the court, and our theme this year is Legends and Legacies. I would say you're probably a legend, Ricky, since you're Hall of Fame member. But we celebrated them. We invited faculty and employees and supporters to come to those brunches last week, and then Hall of Fame banquet on Thursday night, Clem Dellinger on Friday, of course, and then Saturday is our big day. And we have a couple special events that I would like to mention if I have time.
Sure, go for it.
Okay, well, the big one, you talked about Dr. Graham being such a rock star for the institution. So our kickoff Saturday begins with a building dedication in her honor. We have a new residence hall on the Perkinston campus, and it is going to be called Graham Hall. So at 11 a.m., if anyone would like to join us on the Perkinston campus, we'll have a building dedication for her. We have our annual chapel service, cookout, the homecoming court, pregame festivities, you name it, we're going to cover it. Walking tours, archives, alumni house, all of those things. And we pretty much start at 10:30, 11 o'clock a.m., and we will not stop until the game ends that evening. Kickoff is at 3:30.
Wow. And you know what? Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College has had a great tradition in athletics, period, just sort of across the board, haven't they?
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. 7 national championship team for reunion. We had a 2019 championship team, and it's not just our football team that kills it. Our other athletics programs are doing great as well. And we added a program this year. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Say it again, please.
We added a program. We added a sports program. It is called Eat Sports.
Wow, great.
Sports.
That's awesome. That's good to hear.
Yeah, so it's totally different.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so Bulldog Day is coming up next week. Tell me about it.
Bulldog Day is an exploration day. We invite high school seniors and their parents to come. They go to any of our campuses that they would like to attend. They register online. They get to tour, ask questions, talk about financial aid or financial decisions, talk to advisors. Just really get a feel for what the campus looks like, what types of programs we have to offer. It's a great day. It's always a lot of fun. And I'll tell you, for some of our parents who haven't been on campus in 20 or 30 years, it's eye-opening to them to see all of the changes and the new programs, the high-tech programs that we have to offer. So it's always a great day.
And for someone in your position, as we talked about earlier, to know that what's driving a lot of the development that's happening on the campus in terms of what they see in the physical facilities, but also what they see in the programs, is a real strategic mindset. I've always enjoyed the fact that you don't just have a strategic plan in your minds, in your team's mind, and Mary Graham's mind. It's a living document. So you're constantly bringing these inputs in. And where there's strategic opportunity for the university to connect with your business partners in a way that can help your students, you'll do that on a moment's notice. I mean, you guys are willing to turn on the dime if you need to, aren't you?
We are. And we mentioned, you talked about us being involved with the community. We're actually very connected to our industry partners. We take feedback from them through our advisory councils. We tweak our programs to make sure our students are able to walk straight into a job and do well in the job and earn a livable wage. Cybersecurity is huge right now. We're part of the Mississippi Cyber Initiative with multiple other institutions. So just a lot of really, really good programs that are not your average everyday program. These are programs that are in high demand, and students are graduating and, hitting almost six figures, or in some cases above six figures, with a 2-year degree. So
it's incredible. People don't really understand that. I think there's a lot of focus these days on college education and what's best for students. And maybe before going into a sort of workforce development realm, was seeing something as maybe not the direction they need to go, that traditional academics and four-year university is what people should aspire to. But when they start to get their head around, they're mechanically inclined, their sophisticated diesel programs at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, where a kid can come out of there making between $90,000 and $100,000 a year right out of school. That's eye-opening. I mean, a lot of kids with four-year degrees don't get anywhere near that. So it's a real opportunity for Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College as you continue to make people aware that you're trying to help them land in jobs that are high paying, that could be successful right out of school. Anyway, listen, we're out of time, but it's been a pleasure to catch up with you, and congratulations on all your success.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on.
This has been Dr. Suzi Brown, the Executive Vice President of Institutional Advancement for Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. Have a great week, and we will see you on Monday. Have a great day.